And on this Tuesday, April 1st, 2025, updated edition of Newsmakers, California lawmakers have rejected two bills aimed at banning transgender athletes from competing in girls' and women's sports. One of the proposals would have reversed a 2013 law allowing students to participate on a sex-segregated sports team that aligns with their gender identity, regardless of the gender listed on the student's records. The other would have required the state's governing body for high school sports to adopt rules banning students whose sex was assigned male at birth from participating on a girls' school sports team. Today's votes were strictly along party lines. Republicans questioned Governor Gavin Newsom's absence from the meeting, especially after his podcast comments on transgender athletes, where he questioned the fairness of transgender athletes participating in girls' sports. After the meeting, Democratic Speaker Robert Rivas refused to answer reporters if he's worried about losing federal funding for California from the Trump administration. Samaritan's Purse is dispatching an emergency field hospital to Myanmar following Friday's catastrophic 7.7 magnitude earthquake that has claimed over 2,700 lives so far. The Christian Post reports the DC-8 aircraft departed from Greensboro, North Carolina yesterday and traveled to Calgary, where it was loaded with a field hospital from Samaritan's Purse's Canada office. The plane is also carrying medical supplies and disaster response specialists to aid those affected by the disaster. The Evangelical Humanitarian Aid Charity also deployed team members from its Vietnam and Cambodia offices to make preparations for the emergency field hospital. Meanwhile, members of Seattle-based World Concern are on the ground in Myanmar right now as well, assessing needs and ready to connect those suffering with emergency medical treatment, food, water, and vital services. The quake, which struck Myanmar and parts of Thailand on Friday, caused widespread devastation, including collapsed infrastructure and thousands of injuries. A pro-life measure is one step closer to becoming law in Missouri. The Missouri House Committee on Children and Families approved a joint resolution yesterday that would put a near-total ban on abortion, except for cases of medical emergencies, rape, and incest, on the November 2026 ballot. The measure comes after Missouri voters approved a constitutional amendment last November, allowing abortions to be performed in the state. Protesters gathered outside the Glen Burnie, Maryland branch of the Anne Arundel County Public Library yesterday, where a Trans Day of Visibility event was taking place. Demonstrators carried signs saying there are only two genders, and they accused the library of grooming children. There were counter-protesters as well, with LGBTQ advocates supporting what they call a safe space for the transgender and non-binary communities. Harvard University is working with the Federal Anti-Semitism Task Force. This as the Trump administration launches a review because it thinks the Ivy League school hasn't done enough about anti-Semitism on campus. The federal task force said it would review $9 billion in federal grants to Harvard in a similar investigation to the one conducted at Columbia University. Harvard President Alan Gerber said stopping the funding will halt life-saving research and imperil important scientific research and innovation. According to the Harvard Crimson, the school has also fired leadership at its Center for Middle Eastern Studies. And that's Newsmakers for this Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 edition. I'm Keith Black.